Lucia is the newest S-rank support, and she's exactly what you expect from a ZZZ premium support character. Mostly outfield, best in slot buffs, and just overall a pretty simple but very effective character. But after going through pre-release discourse and watching other people cover the character, I've noticed 3 major misconceptions that people seem to have about Lucia. The first is that you need to focus on maintaining our Ether Veil and or Dream State. This might sound silly, since what's the point of bringing a support if you aren't going to use their buffs? But really, it's more that it's so easy to maintain the buffs that you don't actually have to think about doing it, and maintaining our buffs too hard can actually lead to a damage loss. The most common time this happens is during a stun window. Lucia's buffs have pretty long durations, long enough that they should last an entire stun, even if you have M2 Xuan who extends the stun duration. If you watched people play her during early access, you might have seen people do this. Lucia's ultimate refreshes buffs and does damage. It doesn't do anything more than that. She herself doesn't scale off sheer force, so it isn't doing much damage since she isn't benefiting from her own buffing. Instead, Xuan could be draining adrenaline or Monado could be doing more enhanced basic attacks. This doesn't mean her ult isn't worth using, but it's a mistake worth pointing out. Only use it during a stun if you actually have nothing left for your DPS to do. And just to drive the point home, in this case what follows the first stun is Priest parry phase. You are doing almost no damage here, so the buffs can fall off completely and you lose almost no damage. And you can almost instantly get the buffs back when you need to. The second misconception is caring about whims and harmonies and whatever. It's really just a lot of added text and fluff. Every guide I saw spent like 4 or 5 minutes explaining what's a whim and what's a harmony and what they do, but honestly it was just confusing to me. I'm gonna be honest, I still don't really know what whims and harmonies are, nor do I care. The only actual important information is that her X special leads to her 5th basic attack, which will instantly give you her buffs. Instead of caring about whims and harmonies, just look at these 3 circles. Those are all of Lucia's buffs. If one is missing, press some buttons on Lucia and she'll probably provide the buffs you need, but they're just up so long and refreshed so often that I still don't really know how her kit fully works, but watching my footage, the buffs were up for every stun window, and at least for support, that's all that really matters. The last misconception I've seen is that she's barely an upgrade over M6 Panda without her Wenjin. This is probably the dumbest take I've seen on Lucia. Granted, I can't fault people for thinking that. These are the buffs without her Wenjin, and they don't look that much stronger than Panda. But these are my results with Panda, Lucia without Wenjin, and Lucia with Wenjin. Granted, my Panda is M5, so this could be 1 or 2,000 more with M6. Using Hakushin, this translated to this amount of damage dealt, and well, you can compare those numbers. You're currently watching the middle run right now, and the signature Wenjin is better than what these results show, since obviously I can't really go above the max HP that the boss has. The big difference between Panda and Lucia is their class. Panda's a defense character, so his Wenjin options are so bad that I'm using the Volt, completely ignoring its passive just for the energy regen. The only better choice is Caesar's signature, if you have it. He also has to use Astral Voice in order to contribute to the team. 3 stacks is possible, but it's a big pain to achieve, especially since it usually involves getting knocked down intentionally, so you will usually only have 1 or 2 stacks while you're doing damage. Lucia, on the other hand, has actually useful stuff in her build, even without her Wenjin. Moonlight Lullaby is so much easier to maintain, as I discussed earlier, and their Wenjin choices are actually useful. Weeping Cradle is next in line, but if she can use Game Ball, that's also an incredibly strong option, and even Kaboom the Cannon, even though you aren't getting the full value out of the attack, is still going to be contributing something to the team. Last, a lot of people don't have M6 Panda, myself included. A-ranks can be really stubborn. On this account, I only have M0 Monado despite pitying Lucia, and on my other, I don't even have him since I don't want to risk my pity for Yudari despite losing my 50-50. I'm certain a lot of Xuan owners have had that same A-rank disaster happen on her banner and don't have M6 Panda. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about Lucia for a bit, and I might see if I could get a full kill with this setup, or maybe I won't. If you do want to see what a full kill with Lucia looks like, you can click here.